And we're live, the first show of 2025. What's up, everyone? Welcome to This Week in Real Estate, hosted by yours truly. My name is Ray. I'm a real estate agent in Arkansas. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I got some feedback. There you go. I'm super excited about the show. This is show number 301, broadcast live January 8th, 2025. I'm super excited about the show today. The show title, high on our own supply again, but buyers seem to be crushed. What is this market coming to? I thought everyone said that in 2025, the market would be better. This is crazy bad. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about a little bit of the industry tea that's happening. It looks like NAR is getting sued again, this time by its own agents. They just can't win for losing. Supreme Court is going to decide whether the NAR case will move forward against the DOJ. We're going to be talking about that. What's up, Rick? Rick Beal. He said sounds good on YouTube. He was on our last show of the year, 2025. If you missed that, it was the prediction special, where we predicted exactly what would happen through the market in 2025. So if you're an investor, go listen to those guys and just follow all of the advice because you're sure to lose some money. Mia, what's up? Mia's joining us on YouTube. Matt LaMarche was there. It is showing the comments now. Before it used to just wipe them out, and now it's back, so it is showing them before. Another one. All I do is win, he says, and he says DJ Khaled. There's a guy on Instagram that listens to Mike Jones songs until Mike Jones says his name. It's a hilarious piece of content. If you guys, what's up, Andy? See, Andy's here. So we're broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, LinkedIn, and we're on Clubhouse. And if you're on YouTube, you could comment just like these folks have, and I could display your comment and talk about you, or I could talk about your comment. If you're on Clubhouse, you can actually raise your hand and join the show and say stuff out loud that lives in perpetuity right here on the podcast. This is a podcast that's streamed live. That way we get all the interaction from experts and agents around the country and lenders and title agents too. But we also have this put out as an actual podcast on your favorite podcatcher. So it's streamed everywhere. Is it streamed on a podcast or just whatever? It's everywhere on your favorite podcatcher. So if you like Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, whatever, just search This Week in Real Estate and look for my face, and please subscribe there. All right, so without further ado, let's talk a little bit about what's happening with NAR. So this was an interesting move by them. It's not really a change in leadership, but they added someone as an advisor. So NAR taps real estate industry veteran Sherry Chris as an independent consultant and special advisor. What? Chris will focus on strengthening the association's relationship with brokerage leaders. I'm honestly unfamiliar with her. But she will be a special advisor to Nakia Wright. She's got a great pedigree. She spent 18 years at Anywhere. Most recently acting as an executive broker. Previously, she served as CEO of Better Homes and Gardens and ERA Real Estate. Both brands grew significantly nationally and internationally under her leadership. Before that, she was the chief operating officer for Coldwell Banker Real Estate. So this lady knows her stuff, without a doubt, 100%. But I guess I'm wondering why is it a consultant and not some kind of actual position? I don't know. She'll work closely with Wright to engage one-on-one with brokerage leaders to foster an open dialogue and identify opportunities for NAR to better support brokerages and their agents. I think this is coming from a lot of the brokerages looking at what NAR currently has to offer and saying, why are we with them again? A code of ethics and lobbying. but what else? What are they providing? What's the service? And so maybe those things will start to improve. That article is from NAR. There's another one on Inman that goes a little more into detail. Let's see. Chris will engage with professional association to build out the relationship. She brings unmatched expertise and unique, well-informed perspective as a real estate brokerage landscape. In late December, Chris announced that she would be stepping down from her advisory role at Anywhere. Prior to that, she had retired in the spring of 2023. So I guess she's been working as an advisor to Anywhere, and now she's just going to be an advisor to NAR. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
At what cost?
Say again.
At what cost?
Yeah.
How much is she going to cost? I mean, they've already blown a lot of our money. So at what
cost? Would it be worth it though, Andy, if her advisory role, coming from the position she was in which she was steeped with serving agents, right? As the CEO, I mean, yes, you are beholden to stockholders in a lot of cases, but your goal is to serve the agents and the people that are at your brokerage. So if she brings that mindset back into NAR, is it worth it?
Depends on what they do with it, because that's what NAR is supposed to be doing as part of what we paid them for. And like you said, it's just lobbying and ethics at this point, and not much else, because they didn't do anything to actually protect our business when it came to these lawsuits.
Yeah, that's very true. That's going to hurt a lot of these brokerages for a long time, because these brokerages relied on NAR to say, no, if you do it this way, you're okay. And then those brokerages did it that way, and they were not okay. Many of them had to pay millions and millions of dollars, and that does strain a relationship. I can only imagine. Well, there is a case right now that the NAR has that they're trying to go against the DOJ. So this case goes way back to when the DOJ was trying to change their settlement agreement with NAR. And they're basically saying, no, we never settled. And how we settled allowed us to continue to pursue you in the future, continue to investigate you in the future. And NAR says, no. We settled this, and you can't do this anymore. So the Supreme Court will decide whether to hear the NAR case against the DOJ. Justices will review NAR's petition on Friday and post their decision on Monday. The trade group seeks to clarify that the government must keep its contractual promises like other parties. So the justices for the U.S. Supreme Court will convene on Friday to weigh in. According to the case docket, on January 10th, the justices will gather together in a private conference to review NAR's petition filed October, asking the court to review the ruling, an April ruling by the U.S. Court of Appeals in the District of Columbia Circuit, allowing the DOJ to reopen the investigation, which had previously closed into NAR's rules. I mean, the wording of this is interesting. I love the wording that NAR is using. The government has to stick with their contracts, but then reopening an investigation is the phrasing that the DOJ is using. And honestly, if someone's doing something wrong, and I feel like the DOJ should be able to reopen an investigation, or maybe it's just create a new investigation. But if they're following the rule that was put before them, I don't think they should be able to reopen that investigation. If they're basically doing what the settlement says they should do, then accountability to make sure they're doing what the agreement says they're going to do seems appropriate, but investigating them further doesn't. Does that, maybe I'm not making sense. I feel like.
No, further investigation, I would say, would nullify the agreement. If we had the settlement agreement.
If it's about the same thing, then it would nullify the settlement agreement.
Yeah. Or if you're digging in on worse, then all you're doing is a witch hunt on an entire industry, a massive industry for this country.
Yeah.
It's like it's targeted specifically in our industry. And we've already made a bunch of changes. So
and there's no new news. There wasn't anything new that came out. I mean, I feel like there has to be a couple of things left in place to where if there's like new evidence or something additional that was not considered in the first time they considered this, then they should be able to go after somebody. But if there's nothing new, it's just a change of administration, and they're like, oh, okay, well, let's take a look at this again. I don't think that should be allowed.
They can go after somebody.
Right.
They can go after somebody, not the entire industry, like they did before. They want to go after an individual or a specific team or brokerage. Then okay, yeah, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, and we've heard all along that there's those people out there that are going to continue to check us, investigate us, with the private buyers or whatever, just to find out if we're doing everything right. But like, if they're just out for a witch hunt on the entire industry still, then that's a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a huge problem.
Here's some quotes from the docket. The DC Circuit afforded the government special treatment precisely by determining, through various improper thumbs on the interpretive scale, that it made no commitment to refrain from reopening the investigation, NAR attorneys wrote. Without such differential treatment, DOJ could not have succeeded with its brazen reinterpretation of the settlement agreement. This case thus squarely presents the court with the opportunity to reject the troubling view that courts may bend or break the rules of contract interpretation and advisorial litigation in order to free the government of contractual commitments that it no longer prefers to keep. That's a great statement. That kind of puts it in perspective as to what the NAR is fighting against. So we'll see. Hey, Real Brokerage joined the call. What's up, Real Brokerage? Thanks for joining over on Instagram. All right, so we'll see where that lands, the NAR versus the DOJ. That's not all for the industry tea, though. We have more. I thought this was really interesting. It was somebody in one of our contributor chats said it was sent to their email, and then I Googled it, and I couldn't find it because it was behind a paywall of HousingWire or something like that. And I found this on Twitter. So it says, Louisiana agents sue seeking damages for forced memberships. Plaintiffs claim three-way agreement and costly limits market access. On January 2nd, 2025, 4 real estate professionals in Louisiana filed a lawsuit against NAR and several state and local associations. They allege anti-competitive practices and raise concerns about the industry's reputation due to recent scandals. The key details, it defines the plaintiffs, and the defendants are NAR, Louisiana Realtors Association, ROAM, MLS, and then like you have the Greater Baton Rouge, New Orleans Metropolitan, Bayou Board of Realtors. The Bayou Board of Realtors, that's a cool name. Greater Central Louisiana Realtors Association, and Kenneth Damon, Executive Vice President for Greater Baton Rouge. It was filed on January 2nd, 2025. The allegations are anti-competitive practices. The plaintiffs claim that the defendants forced professionals to join multiple associations to access MLS data. To join multiple associations, or they had to join one association of many. They argue that this three-way agreement is costly and limits access. Reputation from NAR scandals, which we've covered a lot. Legal demands. The plaintiffs seek injunctive relief to allow MLS access without mandatory memberships, and damages of at least $10 million for financial and reputational harm. So they're basically saying the NAR's involvement in these things that harm their reputation, harm these agents' reputations as well. So then when I Googled this story, what's up, Olivier? Olivier's joined us from Canada. Oh, I see. All these comments on YouTube just showed up. Sorry, guys. Let me get to it in just a second. All right. So then when I Googled that, I found this article as well. Former Realtor president sues NAR over three-way agreement. I thought this was really interesting. A former Realtor president is now suing. The suit targets NAR's three-way agreement, which requires agents and brokers to join local, state, and national Realtor Association, which we've talked about that a lot. This was on November 25th, but this This article was published January 7th. It's flashing back to a year ago. The Pennsylvania Association of Realtors announcing it installed its first black president, W. Preston Moore. Months later, Moore was suspended and joined the ever-increasing ranks of agents and brokers who have sued the National Association of Realtors. Why was he suspended? What happened? Pennsylvania. Preston Moore says NAR's multiple listing service system effectively forces real estate professionals into NAR membership. The practices stifle competition, limit market access, force membership, disproportionately affects minority and lower income professionals who may lack the financial means to pay the imposed dues. Then it has additional details. You guys can check Inman for the rest of the details on that one. So we have two already kicking off the year where now agents are suing basically to have the option to not be a member of NAR and still have MLS access. Drop in the comments whether or not you have MLS access without being a board member, or are you forced to be a member of the board in order to get MLS access? You guys are having your own sidebar conversation in the comments. Matt, your putting is terrible. Matt says, I'm ashamed, but can't have the facts.
This is a golf podcast now, by the way. Yeah, this is not real estate.
Golf cast. Well, it's kind of one and the same, isn't it? I mean, a lot of places, the whole golf and real estate is synonymous. Courtney says, I have ML access without board membership. That's nice. She's in South Carolina. Hillary is forced. Tell us where you're from too, Hillary. I think Hillary's in Nashville. Rick Beal says forced. I'm forced here in Central Arkansas. And what about you in Atlanta, Georgia, Matt? Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, Georgia and Florida are not forced. And in Florida, I do have to pay a fee. It's more expensive for me to join the MLS than to join the board. So you just join the board and you automatically get the MLS.
Oh, interesting. So you get the MLS for free if you join the board. But if you want to join the MLS independently away from the board, it's more expensive.
Yeah, the last time I checked, which was a couple of years ago, it may have changed. But that's it for the few that I handle in the Panhandle. But in Metro Atlanta, the two main ones, we have them in Metro Atlanta.
That kind of
no.
Seems...
And those MLSs are completely separate from boards. They were actually originally started from boards, but then they have over the years completely separated themselves from boards. So the MLS is completely separate.
Seems like a racket, a little bit of a racket there.
What do you mean, pay to play?
Georgia has another thing going on where brokers keep fees. So apparently there's a fee to list. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a fee to list a property on an MLS in Atlanta. And that fee goes to the MLS. But what a lot of agents don't know is that the fee is actually then kicked back to their broker.
Coming back to that broker, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's based off of like levels of production. Like if you have a good local producing brokerage, they're not going to get that entire fee back, from my understanding. Because years ago I started a brokerage, so I had to pay into that. So there's an initial fee you have to pay. Then if you do enough production, and depending on what level of your production is compared to everybody else, you'll get a certain percentage of that. So it's like a corporate bonus. Like, hey, how much did you do? Okay, well, here's your percentage of that bonus.
Interesting.
And that's a way that it keeps that's how it keeps us at such low fees, because on first MLS it is 0.0012% of the sales price. And if you're in the same brokerage, the agents split that 50-50. If it's two different brokerages, each agent/brokerage pays that.
And some brokerages give that back to the agents. Other brokerages keep that for themselves.
No, the brokers use that to keep the brokerage fees low to the agents. They keep that fee and don't share it with the agents.
Got it.
Unless they have some kind of special thing. But I don't think I've heard of any that do that. Georgia MLS is just a flat $20 a head. With Real Broker, they push that onto the agents. With other brokerages, that's included in your fees, and your fees could be generally anywhere between $50 to $100 a month. And that $20 monthly fee for each agent for Georgia MLS is passed on usually.
It's a cartel. Maybe a friendly cartel, but it is the way the money moves.
But
they could just like not do the
$20
money.
a month, if you're just paying $20 a month for MLS access, that's
not bad.
That's cheap.
That's cheap.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's not terrible. All right, let's get into mortgage demand. There's 2 articles on this. I'm going to share with them back to back. They're 1 week apart. So this one was January 2nd. Mortgage demand dives nearly 22% to end 2024. Okay, well, December is usually slow. The holidays are usually slower, and only the people that are buying and selling are people that have to buy and sell. So this is not super unique, but there's been a sharp rise in mortgage rates for the end of December, which also took a toll. Total mortgage application volume for the 2 weeks ending December 27th dropped 21.9% compared to the week before. During that time, the average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage, $766,550, had increased to 6.97% from 6.89%. So it was sitting right at 7%. Mortgage rates moved higher through the last full week of 2024. Mike Frantantoni, chief economist for the MBA. Not surprisingly, the increase in rates at the time when housing is typically grinds to a halt resulted in declines in both refi and purchase applications. So applications to refi a home, which are sensitive to interest rate increases, fell 36% from 2 weeks before, but were still 10% higher than the same period a year ago. Applications to purchase a home, though, fell 13% during the 2 weeks and were 17% lower than the same period a year ago. So I thought that was kind of shocking. So it looks like, this is all terrible. The article is saying it's all terrible, but it's just the holidays. Okay. Well, this week, the holidays are over. So what is it like now? Mortgage rates hit the highest level since July, crushing application demand. Oof. And hey, look, Min Tran for Intero is featured on the. Do y'all remember when we called one of the signs that was featured to see if they had changed the number or anything, if they edited the photo at all, and we realized that they did not? And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, we had it live." Do y'all remember this? Where we called the guy and had him on the show. I think we even did a video with him, and we're like, "Hey, they used your sign." And it was like an article talking about how bad something was. So we were like, do you know you're featured on this? He's like, oh my gosh, no. So there's Min Tran. Y'all give him a call if and tell him that he was featured on this article with CNBC. So mortgage rates last week moved higher for the 4th week in a row. That caused already weak mortgage demand to drop even further. Total mortgage application volume fell 3.7% compared with the previous week. So we are still, I guess, a week into the year, maybe 2 weeks, we're just a week. It's January 8th, right? So a week into the year, and mortgage application volume is still down. Applications to refi did rise 2% from the previous week, but that previous week, remember, was down like 30-something%. They were still down 6% compared to the same week a year ago. Applications to purchase fell 7% for the week compared with the already lower week, and were 15% lower than the same week a year ago. So for everyone that was like, hey, January's coming, 2025 will be the year of the house, and it's just going to kick off and be awesome. So far, we haven't seen it. Purchase applications declined for both conventional and government loans and dropped to the slowest weekly pace since February of 2024, said Joel Kahn, Vice President, Deputy Chief Economist for the Mortgage Bankers Association. Refinance applications increased despite higher rates, but increased was not compared to the lowest levels. It was entirely driven by increase in VA refinances, which continue to show weekly swings. Part of the reason we're seeing that stuff in the VA, and Andy, you might want to chime in on this too. I believe right now is the time where the forbearance ends for a lot of VA loans. Recently, I got a call from a few people that had VA forbearance, and now they're having to pay and trying to figure out how to refi, and they can't refi because the rates are still high. So now they're going to have to sell, and it's hard for them to get out from under it. And so they're upside down. It's not really a great situation.
The VA has a special refi program for VA home loans. So
do they still have that?
VA.
Do they still have that available if somebody's upside down and they can't really sell right now?
That's the reason for it. Then it gives them a super low rate, but I have to check. But that's something that was started last year. So, and director of VA took a huge hit when he was in front of Congress for it, because the VA is basically taking over the loan. So they've got similar programs. So whoever that is, if you're in that situation, you've got to find it in that situation. They need to call the VA and work with those people, because there are options there most of the time.
Okay. Their servicer told them, we can't help you until you miss payments, which is always, I mean,
this is true. This is part of it, is that you're going to have to go in the hole. But call the servicer, call the VA, and get the guidelines for it.
Yeah. There you go. Matt said average hold time is 5 years. It used to, it was 2 and 3. When we were working with clients, we would ask them, one of the questions we ask on the initial interview is, how long do you expect to live in the next home? And if they would say 2 years, that just tells us that we need to get them a really, really good deal going in so they can get out of it in 2 years like they want. On the other side, if they said 3 years or so, then we could probably buy a house for around market and they could get out of it. But now they're on the other side of all that stuff. 5 years seems to be the number. So I would agree with you, Matt. That's kind of the same in our market. Would-be home buyers are still looking for conditions to improve. So this is a reason why a lot of them are on the sidelines. This one's on Inman. 1 in 5 thought December was a good time to buy a home. While just 22% of homeowners and renters participating in Fannie Mae's National Housing Survey said December was a good time to buy, it's up from 17% a year ago, and an all-time low of 14% registered May 2024. Let's see. Seller sentiment also declined from November to December, but improved from a year ago. Although 63% of those surveyed in December said it was a good time to sell, that's down from 64%. So only a 1% change there. Only 3% off the peak of 67% in April. So Mark Palem said, even though the HPSI fell to the end of the year, consumer sentiment towards the housing market finished 2024 substantially above year-ago levels, attributable in part to respondents' ongoing expectations that mortgage rates will decline. Yeah, people think rates are going down. We didn't think rates were going to go down that much in our prediction special that we had towards the end of the year, but it did seem like rates may go down, but I don't think they're going to go down enough to get a whole bunch of people off the sidelines to purchase. I don't think we're going to see those 5%. So it may just take a little bit more time for people to get used to the number where we're at. That's always what happens. People just get used to it. But then you have these folks. Have you ever met someone that said, I'll never sell? More than 1/3 of homeowners say they'll never sell. What? More than 1/3, 34% of U.S. homeowners say they'll never sell their home, according to a recent Redfin Commission survey. Another 27% say they wouldn't consider selling for at least 10 years. That's roughly 1/4 plan to sell in 5 to 10 years, while just 8% plan to sell in 3 to 5 years and 7% within the next 3 years. Broken down by generation, older homeowners are more likely than younger counterparts to say they'll never sell. More than 2 of every 5, that's 43% of the baby boomers, say they'll never sell, compared to 34% of Gen X owners and 28% of Gen Z. I'm surprised that even 28% of Gen Z say that they'll never sell. So it may start to get longer than 5. I know the average stay in a home is currently about 13 years. And usually when the real estate market starts to increase, that hold time goes down. But currently it's at 13, which is a recent history high. Let's see. Homeowners are saying put because their home is paid off or they just don't want to move. So here's a chart that shows you the reason why homes aren't selling. Number one, my home is completely paid off. 38.6%. Wow. Way to go, y'all. I just like my home and or its location, have no reason to move. 36.7%. Home prices are now too high. 30%. I don't want to give up my low mortgage. It's only 18%. My children or other family members are still living in my home. 16%. I don't want to pay high homeowners association fees. 8%. And then insurance for me would be too expensive where I want to live. 4.5%. The last one is 0.4% say, I've given money to the children or another family member for their own home, so I can't afford to move. That's really putting the fam first there. Miazal says, Taylor says, how low would the rates have to go down to compensate for the house that increased $50,000 to $100,000 because you waited? Yeah, I saw a meme the other day that said, let's see, a 3% mortgage having to go 100,000 over list is more expensive than getting a home at or below list at 6% mortgage or something like that. And that's a good thought, but we're also not seeing home prices go down. So the gain is still there. They're still paying 100% or $100,000 over, but you don't see it because it's already built into the pricing. So they're not going over list, but they're still paying market value for that time period, which is keeping houses have kept their values. They're not going down. Olivier said, I'll never sell because I love my neighbors. Really? That's a good one. We do like the neighborhood we're in. That's a good point. Good point. All right, drop in the comments. Will you sell? Won't you sell? Housing affordability. I thought this headline was funny too. This is from Redfin. That's a good point, Olivier. Olivier said, but do they love me? Well, the good news is, Olivier, you're a real estate agent. So you will be able to, to help them move. Maybe find some other people that you like. Bring in those folks. That's funny. All right, let me show you this screen. This is from Redfin too. It's kind of a funny spin on last year's market. Housing affordability didn't worsen in 2024. So was housing affordability bad in 2024? Yes, but it didn't get worse. The first time in 4 years that has happened. So that is, I guess, significant coming out of the COVID pandy. Here's the share of income needed to afford a typical home dropped slightly in 2024 to 41.8%. That's off the high of 42.2%. For context, in 2012, it was 23.2. So it was almost half, almost. It went up to 30 for the first time in 2017. And it hovered around there, dropping down a little bit, going back up a little bit, and then got to 40. So in 2022, it was 39.0. So it was a 10% increase from 2017 to 2022. Well, not a 10% increase. It was a 1/3 increase actually, but it was 10% higher. So 39.0 in 2022, and now it's 41.8. Home buyers need to earn $116,782 to afford the typical home in the typical area, I guess. So it's not just the typical home, it's the typical home in the typical area. So sorry about that. I had a call come in. Hillary said they allow people to sell up in Canada, Olivier. That's good. And he said he did sell and move 2 of his neighbors. So see, this is the more polarizing you are, Olivier, the more you'll be moving your neighbors out and the more money you'll make. Income required to keep home payments affordable hits a record high. The household income needed, you could see that versus the median. Man, I still have it on focus and do not disturb, but that is not working. My bad. I guess this person's called me multiple times, so sorry. Let's see. Texas metros, top list for improved affordability in 2024. Anaheim and Chicago saw the biggest decrease in affordability. California leads the list of affordable metros. Rust Belt metros are among the most affordable. So California's least affordable, Rust Belt most affordable. That's the same. That's really not different. And then there's a metro level summary. So y'all check out Redfin, see where you land on the chart. Anaheim is at the top, 75.9% share of median income needed to buy. And then, let's see, West Palm Beach, Florida. Oh man, they're not in order here. Let me see what's the lowest. I saw a 21. I guess it's this. 28 is Warren, Minnesota, MI. Michigan is MI. 26% is St. Louis, Missouri. That's low. 25.3% Pittsburgh. And 29% in Indianapolis. Detroit, Michigan, 25.5%. Cincinnati, Ohio, 28.2%. So there you go. If you're looking for a place to save a little money, there's your money saving spot. All right, let's look at the new listings. They rise 8%. But why are they rising? There's more homes to choose from now than in a long time. But from what Redfin is saying, is the reason why this supply is available is because homes aren't selling. So as mortgage rates near 7%, more homes are sitting, not selling at their current prices. And because of that, you're seeing the new listings rise. So it's not a great scenario for sellers if they can hang in there until buyers start buying again. And there are buyers out there. I can tell you my buyers currently are very price sensitive. And then they have a bunch of charts. I thought they had a little summary of what was happening, but no, they don't. This is just their data page. So there you go. Where is it? It's this one. Housing supply ends 2024 on the rise, up 12% year over year. So this article is from December 27th. Same chart just a week later. So it's supply is up and up. So this is a good thing or a bad thing? Here's the summary. Over half of home listings last month set on the market for 60 days or longer. That's the highest November share since 2019. That's the major reason why housing jumped 12% in the previous article. A growing share of home listings are lingering on the market. Wow. And Texas and Florida have the highest share of stale inventory. In Miami, 63.8% of listings in November were on the market for 60 days or longer without going under contract. That's the highest share among the 50 top metros. Next came Austin at 62.4%, Fort Lauderdale at 62.3%, San Antonio at 60%, Orlando at 59.9%. I will say, though, I mean, due to the recent hurricanes through there, the hurricanes they had earlier this fall, wasn't it, or late summer, that could have had a major impact on listings that are sitting. And I know the insurance, a lot of Florida agents are telling me the insurance has really become a problem there as well. But I'm wondering, is it single family residents? It says listings, Miami listings. We also have that situation with the condos happening in Florida too. And I wonder how many condo listings are sitting on there, maybe impacting this data as well.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the difference there is that condos.
Yeah.
South Florida, Southeast Florida is just so many condos, and they've been sitting. People can't even afford to sell them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gotten crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's the, it doesn't look like they broke it out single family. So that may be what you're seeing more in Florida for the stale inventory. I would have to say hurricanes and condos is impacted it. Not saying it doesn't impact it. I'm just saying that's the clear reason why. Austin is a unique story though. They have the highest share of stale inventory. I think Austin really exploded with a lot of high property sales, and a lot of people moved there for that, and it became very expensive. And now you're maybe seeing less of those sales, less of the people moving to there for that reason. And you have the bottom 1/3 or 2/3 of the market that are trying to buy and they can't maybe afford there. So that could be why you have the higher stuff sitting on the market longer. San Antonio is also an interesting story. 60.3% in San Antonio have been stale. So I'm not sure what's going on in San Antonio. Somebody chime in, drop it in the comments. What's happening in the San Antonio market? All right, we only have 2 articles left. We have another tiny home to talk about. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about an Amazon listing. It was a 47,000 luxury tiny home with a rooftop deck. That's the new one. The last one was like a $30,000 or $60,000. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was another small home built basically out of metal. And we talked about being a little afraid to buy it because I've seen other metal stuff on Amazon and it becomes flimsy, but this one is interesting. On the heels of its Black Friday success, Amazon lists another luxury home for $47,000. The home has a sunroom, a rooftop deck, and a customizable floor plan up to 4 bedrooms. A 600 square foot, 2-story home, manufactured by Simple Easy Quick International (SEQ), includes a rooftop deck, glass sunroom, and customizable floor plan furnishings. The base model includes a bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, living room. However, homeowners can add up to 3 more bedrooms. Well, what price does it get to if you add all the bedrooms? So let's take a look at the listing. Here it is. Whoa, that's a lot bigger than the little photo they showed. SEQ double story, fully equipped bathroom and kitchen, tiny prefab container house is what the listing is on Amazon. Home with glass sunroom and stairs, free water heater, 40 feet. So the pricing starts at 40 feet, is $50,000, basically $49,500. The 20 foot version is $46,900. Well, why wouldn't you go 40 feet every time? If it's, I mean, that price differential, $3,000 and you get double the space. I don't understand. Here are some of the photos of the listing, and it looks really cool in the back. It doesn't look like a tiny home. It looks like a bigger home. I wonder though, if I'm standing in it, if then you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely a tiny home. Because the photos look great. They've got a little video of what it looks like too. I would have chosen different wall colors, but it's a tiny house. I don't know if this is a digital. This is not. This is a really bad video of a listing video. They're basically showing like the toilets and the bathrooms a lot, and they're showing these maroon walls, and now you have composite wood walls, and then just white wall. They could really use a tip from a real estate agent on how to shoot video. All right, this is a way better video. It's the render version. There you go. All right, under the stairs, there's cubbies and storage everywhere. I don't know. It looks really good in the render, but in the actual video of the interior of the house, does not look good at all. So that's my 2 cents. Like this doesn't look good to me. What are your opinions? What do you think? Who's looking at this? Matt Lamar said shop by, for sale by owner, for sure. I mean, this doesn't really, I've seen tiny homes that I feel like are way better looking than this. Again, the renders look good, but once you get to the real life thing, I think this is the real life version. It doesn't look that great. The real life version has handprints all over the windows. Again, I think this is a render, even though that has a mop standing straight up in the air. They like tried to put a mop in there to make it look like, oh yeah, we just swept off the deck, but the mop is literally standing straight in the air. So I don't know. Are people going to pay $50,000 for it? Yeah, I think there's probably going to be a lot of people that pay $50,000 for it. They're going to want to see like, okay, for $50K, what can I get? What can it look like? Matt Lovar says Smallhorn enters the chat in 3, 2. Well, she may not be watching today. Courtney, you didn't like the video? Courtney's laughing. She's yeah, she said that's a top-notch photographer working. The video is bad. Here was the tiny home that we saw last time, and I think this looks way better. They sold out of this one quick. This was a 14K tiny home. I think it looks way, way, way better than the 50K tiny home. Yeah, it looks way more modern. The 14K tiny home looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 container houses. 2 on the top, 3 on the bottom. Looks very modern, square. You know, I could see where they saved all the money. The other one just doesn't have the same look to it. It looks, seaside is not the word I'm looking for because I feel like that would put down actual seaside homes, but it's missing the modern feel that kind of make these unique. It's got gabled, very mildly gabled, roof. And I don't know, just there's something about it I don't like nearly as much. Call me crazy. Who disagrees? Janice says, is that a motel? The other one is being advertised as a place that you could do a motel in there. Matt said 30 days to apply it to me account. Hillary, what are you talking about? Oh, Matt said I'm going to get one for my neighbor's yard. And Hillary was asking, what's the return policy? Matt said it definitely looks like a 50K house. Yeah, this one doesn't have the look of the others. And I don't think it's, they say Amazon posted another home. It's not Amazon posting it. It's the sellers. You can post whatever you want on Amazon as long as you can ship it. It is not, it's not Amazon posting it. It's the seller posting it. The last time I got a comment, somebody saying, oh, here it goes. Amazon's taking the real estate agent's job. It's like, no, this is just a seller posting a product on Amazon. It's a big deal. See? It's not an Amazon Basics house. Now, if you start to see Amazon Basics tiny houses, okay. Now Amazon they're getting into the supply game. Marty Reinhardt said, too much construction in those 2 states. Oh, which one are you talking about? Sorry, Marty, I totally missed your comment. You must have been talking about the supply earlier. Oh, you were talking about Florida and Texas. You could be right, sir. That could have an impact on the number of supply available. Okay. And then the last article today. We cover international stuff every now and then. And the last time we were talking about how bad it was and bleak it was. So I wanted to hit on this. Europe's real estate recovery looks set to pick up steam in 2025. I love the architecture in Europe. I wish we would do more of that kind of stuff here. But it costs window space. We were talking about this the other day and how like we in America love these square, like get as big of a window as possible. I don't want any filigree or iron work or concrete work covering the side of the window or my view. I want to see as much of that as possible. And you could see from this photo, like they could have made these windows way bigger, But instead they had little balconies and they had concrete work and they had filigree and all this other stuff around it. But man, that makes it look so much cooler as a building. So Europe's real estate sector is poised for further recovery in 2025 as investment activity picks up and growth returns across key market segments. Gradual uptick in transactions in 2024 looks set to gain pace in the coming 12 months. So I thought that quote in particular was interesting because we saw a decrease in the number of transactions and they actually saw an increase in the number of transactions in the last 12 months. Real estate investment activity is now forecast to increase 15% in the next year across the UK and other major European markets, according to the real estate firm CBRE. They've dubbed 2025 a pivotal year for the sector. Europe's office sector is seen recovering further next year. And we didn't cover it. There's an article about the American office supply and things like that. And it does look like the office sector is also poised to gain strength here in America too. So there you go. Europe's looking up, even though Trump may buy it. I'm excited. Well, thanks everybody for joining the show. That's all I've got today. Follow me on Instagram. It's Ray Zorback, RayZorback. Be sure to connect with me there. Thanks everybody for chiming in today. And I will see y'all next week. Oh, let me know if you're going to Tom Ferry's Elite Retreat at the end of the month. I'll be there. I'd love to meet you guys. So give me a DM over on Instagram, Ray Zorback, RayZorback, and let me know if you're going to be going to Orlando at the end of January. Okay, bye everybody. See y'all next week.